This video is going to teach you how to play the Celestials expansion for Veiled Fate, a strategic deduction game for 2 to 8 players. And now, with the Celestial expansion, supports up to 9 players. Including the Celestials in your game bestows one player with a special asymmetric win condition, adding to the social tension and strategy that already permeates Veiled Fate. Normal win conditions still apply for all other players. So, everyone must adapt their deductive strategy to defeat the Celestial player, but still overcome their other demigod opponents. Celestials demand you level up your deduction and misdirection to find yourself sitting atop the throne at the end of the game. To set up, first decide which player will act as the Celestial. Have the Celestial player take one of the large roll cards for the Celestial and follow the setup instructions. Now we'll take a detailed look at each Celestial roll. The Arbiter's goal is for one demi to succeed and another demi to fail. To begin the game, the Arbiter draws 2 demigod cards instead of 1. If playing with teams, be sure to keep drawing until you get 2 unique demigods. The Arbiter may freely look at the unused demigod card deck at any time, so they know precisely which demis are player controlled and which are not. The Arbiter also has a unique advantage. Once per game, the Arbiter may take 2 turns in a row. The Arbiter wins the game if one of their demis is among the top 3 and the other demi is among the bottom 3 on the renown tracker. Aridan's goal is to figure out the hidden identities of each player. This player does not draw a demigod card at the beginning of the game. Instead, they should grab the included notepad and grab a pencil for secret note-taking. Aridan only takes 1 action on their turn instead of the usual 2, which must be a god power. This means they may not move demigods. However, Aridan may freely use any god power on their turn, with the exception of influence. At the end of the game, before demigod cards are revealed, Aridan must guess the identities of all other players. Then, the players should reveal their demigod cards. If Aridan has correctly guessed the majority of the demigods, they are the winner. Refer to the bottom of the Aridan card to see the number of correct guesses needed for each player count. The Tormentor aims to torment a specific demigod. To set up, draw a single demigod card. Maybe that demigod is their child, maybe they aren't. All the Tormentor knows is they must be tormented. The Tormentor has a unique ability. Once per game, the Tormentor may swap their demigod card with a random one from the unused demigod card deck, returning their old card to the deck and shuffling. At the end of the game, the Tormentor wins if their demi has the absolute least renown. The Mother to All wants all the player-controlled demis to succeed. This player does not draw a demigod card at setup and only draws 2 fate cards instead of 5. They also add the 3 Mother's Fate cards to their hand, a 3 Scorpion, a 3 Feather, and a card that allows the Mother to choose between 3 Scorpions and 3 Feathers upon reveal. First, the Mother may look at the demi cards of other players at any time. And second, their hand limit for normal fate cards is 5, plus their 3 Mother's Fate cards, totaling 8 in hand. The Mother's special fate cards may also only be used on quests. When they are used, they are not discarded, but are returned to the Mother's hand. At the end of the game, if all player-controlled demis are ahead of all non-player demis, the Mother to All wins instead. The Steward's goal is to maintain peace amongst the demigods by keeping the renown trackers of all demis close to each other. The Steward does not draw a demi card at the beginning of the game. Instead, they should select one card of their choice from the Steward deck and place it face down in front of them, returning the rest of the Steward deck unseen to the box. Each Steward card depicts a specific win condition. Next, they should take the Steward quest and place it in front of them. During the setup for age 2 or 3, the Steward may place either side of the Steward quest instead of the quest they were dealt. Both sides of the Steward's quest contain 3 slots, with all 3 demis on the quest gaining the same effect. Note that demis must be within the renown range listed at the top of the quest card to gain or lose renown. Each Steward card displays a number of demi renown markers that must be within a certain range of each other. For example, if you had this card, you'd need 5 or more demigod markers to be within 2 spaces somewhere on the renown track. Before demi cards are revealed, if the condition on the chosen Steward card is met, the Steward wins the game. The Sorcerer's goal is to reconnect with their lost child, who is their drawn demigod card. To start the game, the Sorcerer draws a demigod card who is their child. The Sorcerer miniature is then placed in the city during setup, and their renown marker is set to 1. The Sorcerer then places their 5 spell cards in front of them. Each spell may only be used once, and only on the Sorcerer's turn. You may choose to play multiple spells on your turn. Note that the Sorcerer is not a god, and thus may not use god powers. Also note that unlike demigods, the other players may not move the Sorcerer, even with god powers. Uniquely, the Sorcerer may be freely moved on and off quests, ignoring any and all quest restrictions. One huge limitation, however: the player who is the Sorcerer may only move demis in the same region as the Sorcerer. Lastly, if the Sorcerer is smited, they are moved into the city instead of the Abyss. The Sorcerer can never end up in the Abyss or the pools. At the end of the game, if the Sorcerer's renown tracker is in the same space as their demigods, they win the game. The Prophet's goal is to predict the fate of 4 non-player controlled demigods. During setup, the Prophet draws 4 demi cards, ensuring each is a unique color if playing with 6 to 8 players. Next, the Prophet places the 4 demigod cards face down and chooses 1 time token and 1 renown token to place face up above each demi card. All players know the value of the tokens, but do not know which demigods they apply to. During the game, the Prophet has a unique ability. When a quest is being resolved and the active player is choosing which players to add additional fate cards, the Prophet may force the active player to choose themselves. At the end of each age, the Prophet checks to see if the demi with that age's time token currently has renown equal to the renown token. If so, they reveal the demigod. This revealed demi has met their fate. Their miniature and renown marker are removed from the board. From now on, any matching color slots on quests for the removed demi are ignored and are available for any demi to occupy. If the Prophet was incorrect in their prediction, leave the card flipped face down. The Prophet wins the game immediately when they have correctly predicted 2 demigods. Now, before I let you go, a quick clarification when combining the Celestials and Hadria expansions. If Hadria annihilates a demigod that is required for a Celestial's win condition, the Celestial cannot win the game. And that does it. We hope you've enjoyed learning how to play the Celestial expansion for Veiled Fate. If you have any questions, hit us up in the comments below or on Discord. And yeah, go play some Veiled Fate.